Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Helen from Crafty So and So, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make reusable face wipes. So I made a set of these earlier this year and they have been so good to use, so easy. I created mine with a cotton drill side for the exfoliating and a soft jersey on the other side for the more soft touch for your skin. You can choose whichever fabric works for you. I try and stick to quite a pure fabric such as cotton, just because it's easier to wash, better for your skin, and they are long lasting. So without any more delay, let's get into the tutorial. So before we get started with this tutorial, I wanted to run through a few of the things you might want to hand before you get started. Starting off with your fabrics, I chose two different ones. This is a Cath Kidston. It's like a cotton drill, so it's quite coarse and tough. This is really good if you want to have something that's a little bit more exfoliating for your skin. And then for the other side, I've just gone with a soft pure cotton. You'll also want a pair of scissors, rotary cutter. I've also created a paper template already of the size I want to go to. So this one sewn will then end up around 4.5 by 4.5 inches squared, and then some sewing clips, or you can use pins. So before you start cutting, make sure you've washed your fabrics just to get any remaining dyes or solvents out of them, and then they'll be good to use when you're finished. Also, even if you've ironed your fabrics, give them another press just to make sure they've shrunk properly, and then you won't have to deal with any shrinkage. So just make sure you give your fabrics a good press just to get rid of any bumps and folds, wrinkles, just because you don't want to start sewing and then them just crop up and ruin your face wipes. Depending on the fabric you're using will depend on which heat setting you go for. Mine's cotton, and it's quite a tough cotton, so I can go for quite high heat just to get those bumps and folds out. But if you are using anything else that requires a lower heat, just make sure that you stick to that. You don't want to ruin your iron and you don't want to ruin your fabric. I've recycled this cotton piece. It was supposed to be a dress, but I never got around to finishing it, and then I lost interest in the dress completely. So now I'm using it to make myself some face wipes, makeup remover wipes, whatever you want to call them. Don't think I can quite fit that on there. Oh, just maybe one. Okay, so once you've got your fabric ironed, you can move on to cutting out your shape. You can make these any size, you can make them round if you prefer as well. This is just the size that I'm going for this demonstration. Obviously your pieces don't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that they're all at the same size for when you sew them together. Trimmed a bit of the paper there, but never mind. And 5. So they're not perfectly neat, but they are going to be good enough to sew together. Next, fabric. So I'm going to use my ruler for this, because then at least I can cut a nice smooth line. And there, move that along. We're going to line it up and cut. So it's 1. Need to change my blade. And 2. That should give us plenty to work with. So then line up your strips again, and then do the same this way. So you're getting 5 by 5. So 2, 4, one left over, but that doesn't matter, and 5. So once you've got your pieces, I've got 5 of each, but you can do as many as you like. Also remember, you can use pretty much any fabric you like, but I like to use a coarse side for exfoliating and a soft side. So next step, we'll need our pins or our clips, and we want to be taking the right side of each fabric and putting them together like so. So you're overlapping, kind of like making a sandwich, but just wheat bread. So then you've got your right side there and your right side of your cotton together, pin on each edge, or in my case clip. Find them much easier to use. So once you've pinned your 3 sides, you want to be sewing, oh, hold on, there we go. You want to be sewing down this edge, across that one and back up. So you only want to be doing the 3 edges. You want to leave one completely open. You can, for bigger ones like mine, start here and go across, just to get, so you can include this corner if you're not confident turning through. I'll show you once I've done an example of this. So start here, go down, down, across, up, and do the same on this side. Don't go any further than maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch, just so then you've got plenty of room to turn this through. So you want to keep quite a bit of a gap in the middle there to turn it through. I'll sew one now and show you. So I'm just at the machine, and you can see that I've got my 3 sides that are pinned. I'm going to start on the open side, and as if you can see, I'm just going to do about 1 inch from this edge. So I'm starting probably about 1 inch away. Remember to back stitch here, just because you don't want the threads to pull away while you're turning them through. So sew down here, get to the corner, lift your foot and turn. I'll show you now. Make sure your needle is down. Ready to lift your foot and turn. Put your foot down and start sewing again. Do the same again, needle down, lift, turn. Go, and again, pull up, turn. I've gone a bit wider on this edge just because my cotton is a bit bigger than my layer underneath. And then once you've done about an inch in, I don't know if you'll be able to see, there, back stitch, pull away and break. So I don't know if you'll be able to see because I use white thread, but I have done the stitch there, down, across, up and across again. So I've still got this hole to turn through. So next thing you want to do is cut off any loose threads you've got, and you want to trim the corners. I'll show you. So to trim the corners, you want to place your scissors at a diagonal across the corner and just chop like that. So you end up with that kind of cut. Do it for all corners, and then that gets rid of any of the bulk around your corner seams. Once you've cut the corner and you've turned your reusable face wipe back through to the right side, you'll notice that it sits a lot, the fabric will sit a lot more flat and easier, and it won't pull and look really bulky and frumpy basically. So cut your corners and cut off any remaining threads from each piece. So once you've cut all your corners, next thing you want to do is turn your face wipes through. So if you've left enough space, it should be easy enough to do. Make sure you push your corners. And just to make your corners extra sharp, you can use the end of a pen, knitting needle, or the end of your scissors, just to help push your corners to a point. Now there won't obviously be a perfect point, but if you use something like this, then you can get a nice enough edge. So do this for all 4 corners on each piece, and then they'll be ready to press. And they'll start to look like that. So you'll still see that you've got your opening, but we'll press that in a minute when we've finished doing this bit. I just want to mention, don't use anything too sharp when you do this, because you can easily create a hole within your project, and then you'll just be mad at yourself. Well, just me. See, I can already see the pen coming through the seam. So just be careful you don't get too excited about turning your corners through and create a massive hole. there you go, last one. So we'll take the cutting mat away, bring back our ironing pad, and you just want to give them a good press, and naturally, because you've sewn on each side, naturally it's folded in to create a nice neat edge, so you don't even have to do a whole load of faffing and folding. So give that a good press. If you feel like the seams could be sharper, you could roll it through your thumb and top finger, and then it helps bring the seam right to the edge. Depending on your fabric, some of the open edges might take a little bit more persuading to go back in, but you should get there eventually with enough heat and pressing. You can also, just to make sure they don't pop back out, clip or pin them in place, ready for when you start to sew them. So once you've got them pressed, you want to top stitch around each corner, each edge, and then they'll be done. But I'll show you how to do that now. So we've got our piece clipped at the top where the opening is, and now we're just going to top stitch it. To do this, I usually do probably about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge, just so then it's not too far and it's quite nice, creates a nice little border, but it's not intrusive in the main part of the face wipe. So to top stitch, all you're going to do is do a normal stitch running all the way around. Do like you did before, where you get your needle to the corner, lift up your foot and carry on again, and do that all the way around. So once you've top stitched, you'll be able to see my top stitching there. Once you've top stitched all around each side, make sure you cut off any remaining threads, give another press, and then you're done. So you can make obviously as many as you like. You can make them in any size. You can even make them round if you prefer. I just like using the square ones just because they're a bit easier to hold. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. Please think about giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel for more tutorials in the future. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye!